Hey, everybody. Are we live? Can you hear my dog? We're getting it sorted out here. We're doing gems after dark here on the Ozone. Unfortunately, I can't get the music. We'll get it. We'll get it. Hey, all you beautiful people. You get it. The bar is frozen. It just can't handle it. It can't handle it. Come on, Anthony. You can do it. Oh, come on. Can you guys hear me otherwise? Because usually when you have the background music up all high like this, it makes it so the audio is kind of crunchy. So let me know. I'm getting this sorted out. Yeah, you guys were looking at a sunstone in there. That was a sunstone with the microscope. Oh, look at that picture again. I'm looking to figure out what's going on here. That back up there. Look at that beautiful thing. And so you can even see the little red platelet. Fantastic. Look at this. Wow. Why are you frozen? Oh, good Lord. It's going to start over again. I don't know why it's doing this. It doesn't like me today. It won't let me scroll. Why? Why? Hang on tight, everyone. We'll get this figured out. Meanwhile, we're going to look at some sunstones. We'll bring this guy back up. How do we do this? Do this? Bye. There are those. We're gonna go through these sunstones and sort them. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's do it. Maybe we listen to this music the whole time. I don't know. It's Sunstones After Dark here on Ozone Fine Art Ventures. Oh, the whole panel is frozen, you guys. This is so funny. Oh, here we go. If you persevere, you might unlock the different keys of the universe. So we figured out how to pot down that music. All right. And so we've got Sage Rat here tonight. Thank you for coming. We have That Opal Guy hanging out, as well as Soul Adventurist. I guess we could do this now. We'll go ahead and trade with the Sunstones. They're the superstar of this evening, although every single one of you is bright as the sun in my eyes. You can see I've got the ultralight light on so that we can really, really do some heavy duty gazing this evening. We went down to the Sunstone mines. I did treat you guys to a picture of our truck there at the mines with the casita. Actually, that's the public area. Some of you might have even recognized, since I know some of you out there have been. I would love to have a show of hands in the chat who's been to the Sunstone mines out here in Oregon. It would be cool to know. And we've got Mr. Chubby Hubby here. It's good to see you. And Ryan's in the house. Of course, Ma, one of our beautiful wrench bears. So if you have any things that you want to share or anything like that, hit up a mod. We've got J and V Raw Counting Jeff, of course, also a fabulous mod running about in here. And it looks like people are trying to get their tech issues settled down. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's time to put up your feet, chill out, and do some gem gazing with us. And so, right, gonna make sweet love to those rocks. That's right. It's berry hour tonight in the ozone. We've got Betty here, and Betty she hit the Sunstone mines right before us. We were just on her heels, and she left a few for us to get in our belt run, although she had a fun belt run as well. And Jeff is saying, I have a bunch of Sunstones, but I haven't been there. That's cool. I mean, they're very unique. And we're going to talk a little bit about what makes ours unique tonight, but while we're watching them, we need to we're going to be looking at the sunspots this evening. Who says that we can't see the sun after it goes down? We're going to do that tonight. And so let's see. The Sage Rat says, been there several times. I love to visit Heart Mountain Hot Springs when you're done. We actually did it the reverse. We rolled in kind of late, so we popped up there to do the hot springs first, and then we rolled on down. Now you'll notice that I'm wearing a signature black shirt. I love wearing the black shirts, but I almost wore my Heart Mountain shirt that I just got this last trip, except for, as you guys know, there's a rule with photography that if you're wearing black, you're most likely not going to reflect color onto what your subject is if it doesn't exist in your subject. And so yellow would have not been a great choice because I would have been reflecting it into the sunstones. And I have made the mistake of wearing like a pink shirt while trying to sort out sunstones. And you're just seeing Schiller and everything, but it's your shirt. So not doing that today. And we've got, it is no joke going out there, right? Yeah, it's a bit of a car drive. I'm pretty sure we did like hundreds of miles off road this trip. That's a lot of driving off trip or off road to get to the Sunstone mines, and yet they're fairly good dirt roads. We did some Jeep trails that I cannot wait to share with you. We'll do a little bit more of a show recap or a trip recap on the Friday Night Live. And so for some reason, I think I got a few from me, but I don't remember. I think you do. I would have put some in a box for you at some point for sure. I love sharing, and this is great here. I think the only Sunstone that rivals my love for the Oregon Sunstone, and I don't think it really actually rivals it because it's just different enough that it is its own creature, is the Rainbow Lattice that Jeff is talking about. And we were talking about, I think yesterday on our live stream, how they have the tendency to explode in your hand. And so that's one thing that we don't run into quite the same difficulties with our sunstones here in Oregon. They still can have, lots of fractures. They've got their two cleavages as a feldspar would. So if you're looking for some Sunstone 101, we're talking about a feldspar. It's the cousin of the moonstone and labradorite. among other feldspars. And so we get the chatoyancy of, or the Schiller of copper in ours, and that they're the onlyest on the planet that do that. So in that way, they are quite unique. And we've got, oh my gosh, Sage Rat is only 50 miles from the the Sunstones. Why, you're almost sitting on the sun, my friend. And so, did you do well the last time that you were there? And maybe we'll see you next time at the hot springs, eh? Cheers to you. In fact, cheers to all of you for joining. And we'll get on to the gem gazing here in just a moment. So, cheers. And that is the Steinkern mug from our friend over in Philomath. And so you might as well be walking on, right, Opal guy? And Betty is saying, I tried to research sunstones. I got a little clarity. Yeah, they are crazy. Being as unique as they are, you know, there's only a few sources to really learn a lot about the Oregon Sunstone. And Dawn, actually, whom I believe maybe still does own the Dust Devil, or I know for sure it used to, was looking to sell it. Wrote the book basically on the Oregon Sunstone with some wonderful scientists coming up from behind and picking up the football and running it in. And Patrick has a wonderful video. So our friend over at Donahue Labs has a great video if you're interested in some more information, interview some interesting people to learn more about the Oregon Sunstone. Definitely check that out. And we've got Phil up in the house as well. I don't know if I said hello to you. And we've got the Sage Rat saying feldspar crystals, and the ones here are a bit of a mystery on how they were formed. Yes, it's exciting that we know so much and so little. That puts the smile on my face because there's so much to discover about these, and just darn near everything else that we keep on finding that the planet keeps on putting forth. It's fantastic and exciting. And so what we do know is that as we're going to be sorting out this bin, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and let the pixels settle on it. You can already see some color, and you can already see some different qualities of sunstone. And one of the most important things about the sunstone for a person that's going to be doing some of the lapidary is it going to have stuff inside that will make it difficult for me to try to get a gemstone out of it. I'm a faceter, I'm a carver, I'm a cabber, I'm a picker, and I'm a grinner. You can do a lot of different things with a sunstone if that sunstone wants to hold itself together. I did mention two cleavage planes before, and so it creates a bit of a tricky situation sometimes because it wants to cleave at the cleavage plane, thus the word and the name, somewhat indicating that. So if you're trying to polish it where it wants to keep on shedding its lattice from that cleavage plane, then you run into some tricky business, and that happens with the particular with the faceting aspect of it. And hey, Sage Rat, what kind of things do you do with your sunstones? I would love to see. Do you facet? Do you cab? Do you carve? Or do you find some other uses for them? I would love to hear. I am a rock. I am an island. You're so musical this evening, Don. Thank you for all of the the beautiful songs that are going to become earworms this evening. Almost as good as my track that wouldn't stop. Sorry about that. Getting started this evening. And It's Lattice is here. Good to see you. And hey, It's Lattice us. You've been over to the Sunstones too, haven't you? And Kurt's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. And dude, I have one of your stones that didn't make it back into your box. That was the maybe gonna put it along with the thing that I did set for you in jewelry. And so I'm gonna be making you a new box to get this thing. I was just looking down because I think it's like within arm's reach, even here in a little baggie. And I've been meaning to email you. I found it when I was cleaning up. So let's see. I did a paper on that Simon and Garfunkel song in college. That's great. That what a great college class that must have been. And it's definitely hard not to get excited about all this beautiful stuff. And thank you so much about the birthday wishes. Thank you. It was a wonderful day, and I got to spend it with friends like all over the place. It was fantastic. Thank you. And we've got gorgeous Sunstones. Cheers and Steinkerns from James. Thank you for joining us. And a writing class. Well, that makes total sense. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think Kurt, I think it's the garnet. Didn't you send me a cabbed garnet that's supposed to go along if it could? And since I didn't integrate it in and we kept it simple, I got to send that bad boy back. And so, what I wanted to do actually is start right off with a chunk. The dogs are excited about getting started, and I hope so are you. We've got this chunk that is actually showing us some of the cleavage planes, like it is, one of those cookies that has the layers in between those, like cookies that you have with coffee. You guys all know the ones. And so this guy is showing us how these guys do grow and all of those cleavage planes. Now you're going to have kind of the same sort of lattice with those guys down there, but it's just not showing because something intervened and made this one grow so that we could see where all of those lines are. And so what was I found very interesting about these guys, and we will do some lighting adjustment. I'm not using my pink shirt and I'm not using my pink hands with the sunstones on account that they will cast a color and be reflected so that we won't see true color. But I want to bring your attention to the peachy pink that is on the right side of the stone, and then we have some yellow on the left side of the stone. The yellow staining is probably iron staining and is undesirable. And the stuff that we have going on the right-hand side is what we find desirable about sunstones. And I thought that this was a really unique I'm not going to work this stone because you can see those cleavage planes. I have a feeling that this guy is quite brittle on those planes, and we're not going to get a successful stone out of it. No matter how you slice it, complete pun intended. And yet it's got the schiller. And I don't usually in the weird pieces that look like those cookies, like a Twix or whatever. I don't see schiller, but both of the ones that I got this time have schiller. And so I thought that was really weird. So we're starting off with stuff I'm not going to use, which is somewhat counterintuitive, but that's one way to start through the pile. And so I'm going to put this guy over to the side. You mentioned before, Jeff, that you thought that the stones that I had in the thumbnail were kind of nice. I'll show you that little handful here. Real quick, I'm going to get that a little bit wet. That helps for us to see, but those are some of the ones that I just pre-picked out because they're just abundantly red, and we've got a bicolor up there at the top. We can look at those separately, but yeah, that's what you're hoping for when you are going out to the sunstones. You're hoping for some reds, you're hoping for some greens, you're hoping for the bicolors. Those are the ones that are, even rarer than rare. And then the Schillers are wonderful as well, just as far as the quality goes. They're just not worth as much. And I'll be darned if I pulled something that was white that I could put behind, and of course I hid it again from myself. So we're gonna grab something else, like the back of an envelope. Come on. All of the envelopes in here have stuff on the back. Huh. Wonder if that's going to be white enough. Yes, we're prepared. This was an impromptu session on account that I thought I was going to get to oh wow, we've got the light is starting to trip out when I do that. So maybe we won't do that. Maybe we can see that it's bicolor enough when I just hold it above that morass of gorgeous sunshine below it. But you can see that there is red, and then there is a teal around it that I'm going to have to figure out how I want to isolate. But this would be an exciting stone, even though it's kind of on the small side. I do have I can weigh these if you guys are interested. I can also measure these if you guys are interested. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, is grading them and sorting them. So you guys let me know what part of that process you want to see, and also what questions you might have. I'm just going to put that down for a second so that I can toss the envelope that didn't work. And thank you, Tomcat Josh, for the memberships. I'm going to also catch up with the chat to make sure that folks haven't already asked a question that I missed. But please, I know as much as I do and not much more than that. And I'll share whatever it is that I do think I know with you. And then we can do more research together if we need to. So I'm going to ring this bell. Welcome, 5 new Ozonians to the tribe. We'll have some fun stuff from our trip over on the member side, on account that we took a lot of tangents. I'll just say that right off the bat. And so there's going to be plenty of member material as opposed to what goes straight to video. But thank you so much, Tomcat. And I hope that you're feeling better. I saw a post when I was kind of catching up with things. I saw a post that you were not well, and so I hope that you're doing better. Please let us know. And okay, here is a question that I did miss, and so I'll start like picking things up so that you guys have something to look at while I yammer. Okay, we'll try to be disciplined on this trek. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you the ones that first were in the thumbnail. And so the Belt Run Opal Guy costs $250 if you want to go and have an hour. They do have, I believe, some other rates for professionals that are more expensive, but hopefully I think meriting some more material. More or better material. And so this is like mining, this is like fishing. Some days are good days, other days are bad days, maybe, or you don't get quite as much. It is like a gamble. And so you go in there knowing ahead of time that at least with a belt run, you're going to get something, as opposed to, even if you were going into the wall, you might get hardly anything. And so the belt run is a little bit more of a hedge your bets and a little less of an exhaustion situation. We like doing it because it saves us time. We get to support Chris, and we love Denise. She's always awesome. Little Chris is fabulous. Everybody over there at the mine, very, very helpful. And yet at the same time, we usually are on some kind of a trek where we have lots of stops, and so we can't spend lots of time. So it makes sense for us to not dig the walls. We go ahead and do the belt run and exchange stories and smiles and hugs, and then we're off to the next stop. I'm holding this with the schiller shining, and you can kind of see the schiller running across, but then it's got some very deep red and it's got some green on the outside. The schiller is hard to isolate for you guys. It looks just like a color blend as opposed to being as shiny bright as it is in real life. But yeah, this one before we even got, well, there you can see it's burning out the, it's actually burning out the pixels of the camera. Doesn't know what to do with that schiller. But yeah, so that one's insane, and I found it before our belt run. So that was a good thing. Okay, so let me catch up in the chat really quick. I think I was supposed to be catching up, and I got on a tangent because we were holding a cool stone. I'll hold another cool stone while I catch up. How's that? And now the cows are coming. Yes, it's $250 an hour. And there are rates for you being able to dig for the whole day. There's rates for you getting a pile of material to go through. And so, you just get to pick your pleasure. There's a menu of options for sure. And so we have this question here, but how much can one of those good ones cost, faceted and set into a ring? That's a wonderful question. And there are folks that will facet your sunstones for you. And there are folks, usually different folks, that'll put that faceted thing into a ring. And I know Donahue Labs has a comment about that. And I will back up the comment after I read. And yes, they are wonderful people. You're going to have a good experience. I hope anyway. If you go over there, they do their very best. And do you know about how many yards they can run in that time? And do they help? Which mine was it? I go to Spectrum, but I've been to Dust Devil. And I would like to try the Double Eagle. And then I would love to visit Adam also at some point if it works out. And like one of these days, I would like to have my own claim. They put a bucket full into the hopper and they run that belt as fast as you can keep up with it. I do have our belt run this time videotaped. Or videotaped, what an old fashioned term. I filmed the belt run, and so we're gonna be able to see that on the video, so you guys get to see. It won't be in real time because we're not watching that for an hour. We'll speed it up, but there's plenty of material. It is a good deal in my opinion. The belt run is the same volume of material you get in a pile, and it takes about an hour to dribble out onto the belt. Thank you so much, Patrick. Yeah, they basically take a bucket load of a front loader and they toss it on there. I'm doing better care in 4 days in the hospital. 32 bags of what? IV antibiotic. Oh my gosh. Oh, Tomcat Josh, I hope that you're feeling better. Oh my gosh. I had no idea it was that bad. I hope that you're okay, man. My very best healing thoughts to you. Okay. And so, wow, that kind of hit me here, Josh, seriously. And here you are not feeling well and you're still being so generous. Thank you so much. I haven't ever seen one for sale to know how much something like that would cost. Now, do you mean like a rough one, like one of these guys that would be able to be faceted and made into a ring? Or are you talking about once it's already faceted, or the ring? Because because like there's definitely a whole bunch of different levels. And actually, I'll pop down and grab my load of sunstones. It's not a load. It's just a tiny little flat of some of those stones I've already done that you guys can look at. I am not a good gauge of the prices because I set them and I sell them in a finished piece of jewelry, and I have only sold a few stones unset, and they're going to cost more than if they sent them overseas because I can't charge the same price as that. But I'm hoping that we have some wise folks here in the chat that can help us out. This is a Schiller piece, and so you're seeing that it's still also giving us kind of like a nice red hue in the middle, and a lot of times they do that you'll get kind of like a faint red center, kind of like the candy. But then it's also Schiller. And so as a faceter or a carver or a cabber, you can decide if you want to face the Schiller flash. So that's what you're looking at. Or you can choose to go with the color. And so when I turn it this way, you guys are looking at the Schiller flash and it's rolling through the stone right now. And then at other times, like if I was faceting it, I would turn it to this axis so that I could grab the color. So the way that the platelets, the copper platelets are lined up so that they are shining like a copper penny this way. But when they're put on their side, or we're looking down through the platelet field this way, it just looks like red color. And so that's something to know. And yet you're still worried about the cleavage planes. And so you're judging what you can get away with, where your cleavage planes are, and what axis would be the most beneficial for the piece that you want to get. And let's see, Lego my ego, welcome in. Depends on the size. A really good one at the Tucson show costs around $1,500. Yeah, the best one she's showing would probably facet into a $200 stone. And so, yeah, I mean, again, and potentially those are the prices at Tucson, which might be different than where you are regionally. Like I would say maybe more expensive regionally. The Tucson show, everybody is trying to make a market price, but be competitive. So, yeah. Okay, Sage Rat is saying, I haven't been to Spectrum. I've been to the Dust Devil years ago. And whoa, whoa, sorry, Sunstone Quake. This one's shining at me, so I needed to pick it up. Again, looks like a red dot from one side, and then it was actually doing like a really fancy platelet Schiller show from where I was sitting. So I've loved both experiences, and I would recommend that if you have some time, go ahead and try one and then maybe try the other. Those are the two big ones, the Dust Devil and Spectrum. And then you have some smaller options like the Double Eagle, which is great to go support those guys. And then even some smaller mines that offer some, some folks to come on and do some mining as well. So it's going to be hard for me to get the right angle on this guy. He keeps on slipping underneath the tongs here. Let me try again. I'm doing this with my left hand too. So may or may not work. Of course, it's going to be right underneath the oh gosh, it's so good. Okay, so actually right now we're seeing it like there it is in the water, and there's something about, when you dunk them, you get to see them better. And so I keep on pulling them out and you guys don't get to see them quite as well. There is also a way to see them better with an oil, and I'll cover that here in a second. I do want to kind of catch up. I'm sorry, I'm lagging behind, and you guys are exchanging great information. It's Lettuce is saying, depends on the cut too. Check out Ryan Joseph Gems. He cuts some awesome sunstones. Yeah, there's a huge community on Facebook. There is a sunstone, like an Oregon Sunstone community. I believe that Chris Rose runs that Facebook page. And if you ask about getting stones cut, they always have really good suggestions there as well. And let's see. And yeah, Lego My Ego is saying it's easier to go to Tucson and buy rough there. Yep. And Ma has one of the ones that I sold without setting. That's right. Fabulously gorgeous. Triopic blast trillion cut with a bunch of schiller in it, and that was the cut that Manny was starting yesterday night on the live stream, and so that's how much I love it. Is I do my favorite stones in it for sure. And we've got on my trip 3 people split a belt run, a pile for 175-ish each, and I sold one faceted stone from the trip for $200. So it is definitely worth going. That's exactly the point. Now, if you can get out there, I mean, I understand that's a big trip for a lot of people, and some people might even feel sketchy taking their car out there. And so, that's either you can go and get your own, or you can go to Tucson, or you can, buy them online or what have you. But there's a reason why they cost something, and they're not easy to go and get. You have to kind of work for it. Um, One of the facets, I mean, yeah, or a mine. Hey, Ma, are you sitting on a claim over there? Um, and we've got this from Lego My Ego. The Spectrum guys sell at the Pueblo show in Tucson, and that area of Oregon is so remote that I think that would be if you have to fly in, rent an RV, rough it, etc. Tucson, you can find faceted rough and the comfy hotels. And this is so true. It is really remote. In fact, that whole kind of starting there in the plush Oregon region, and then moving over towards the Oahes where we just did our trip. We cruised the whole area. It is the most remote territory in the lower 48 of the United States. And that's including South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, but Oregon has the most remote of the lower 48, and that's where we start with the Sunstones, and we end up over in the Oahes for that territory. And so if that's saying anything. And we've got a future description for this video. This is one big Schiller show. Man, is it ever a Schiller show? Absolutely. And we've got this, sorry, Ozone Fine Art. Yeah, I judge everything by Tucson prices, which because of the competition tend to be lowest I can find. Absolutely. Even compared to the source country, or yeah, the regional prices. And I lived in Tucson for 15 years, and I was planted there so that my mom would have a place to stay during Tucson shows. So I totally get it, and no apologies needed there. It's just that, that's part of the dynamic. And so you're, of course, we're always looking for the good price on things. And so Sage Rat is saying, I have both rough and some faceted stone. Had some friends that used to have a mine down there, and I bought some from them. Yeah, I would love to own a claim. I'm seriously contemplating. And did she hear her name? Ma needs a claim at the Sunstones is all we're saying. Also, we'll have adjoining claims, and it is absolutely fantastic for watching stars. I missed the stars. We're back on the coast, and we did have a clear day, but it's definitely fog season here. I can't remember. Did we look at this one already? This is one of the really, really juicy ones. And when we look at our stones, like I said, we're looking for that they don't have fracture inclusions. So if I can capture this color without the fracture inclusions, it's not going to lose that much weight. this is another thing that we all consider when we are cutting a faceted gem or doing a cabochon or a carving, is how do we get the most out of the stone? And it has got an amazing saturation. I saw this one on the belt and squealed. I don't think we're gonna include the vocals on the video that will be coming up, but yeah, that is an example of a really nice chonker. And I'm just, crossing my fingers that I'm going to be able to get all the way, get this all in one piece. And so I did actually allude to, we'll do this here really quick. um, this is evergreen oil, and I'm actually running quite low. This is one of the things that you can use with your sunstone. Instead of just the water, you take your sunstone and you plonk it in here, and it's like having an X-ray machine. And so even better than the water, you can look into the stone and see whether or not you've got the fracture inclusions, because until you start doing the preform, oh, we could see the schiller. Oh, look at the schiller on that. Ah, fun with stones. Let's see how close to this camera I can get this. Maybe this would be good for you guys to see. You're getting a little bit more of an idea of size here too, but can you see it fry oh, there? See it start to fry the color, into like almost the bright yellow. That's a lot of schiller in that guy. And so of course, here I've got drift going on. I'm gonna choose a different angle on this guy. You can kind of see its little green halo with this angle. I'm going to isolate it so we got the color and not the schiller for something like that. Because of that deep saturation of red, we want to grab the red on that one. So that one goes into the bin. I am supposed to be parsing and sorting. That's what we're doing here tonight. And so I'm going to put these good ones over in your kind of precious bin. Actually, I should put that closer to me. And so I'll show you guys that here really quick. These are the ones that we've got going on so far. I mean, and even these really little ones, and if anybody wants me, like I said, to weigh anything out so that you kind of get an idea, like this is just this tiny, tiny, tiny little guy. You can see a little bit of color up there in the O of the ozone. We'll get it wet. I'm not bringing out the spearmint oil or wintergreen oil right now because it stinks, but it's got like a wonderful it's like the same refractive index as the sunstone, so like all the edges disappear and you can see clear through the stone. And so see how we got just like a little pinpoint of color. So that might merit us 2 millimeter stone or something like that. But I love doing tiny stones, so that I've got some really nice accent stones to add to other projects. And so that will get faceted too. They're all worth something to me, since I get to do all of the playing with them. I get to plan what their future is. And so that is definitely useful to me. And it looks like I've got freeform lapidaries in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. And it looks like we have somebody who is not super stoked on the state, and that's okay. Uh, and it's totally fine for you to go too. I don't think anybody needs to prove anybody wrong about anything, but this might not necessarily be the crowd that might hold the same opinions as you, and in that case, it's okay. It's okay for you to move along. And And so, so some more of the red you can see like right as I pick it up, we're on the Schiller side. And so a lot of this is very directional. You know, you get the color almost all the way through a stone like this. And then, you know, you hit the side that you get the Schiller on. And so once again, I'll be looking at trying to isolate. Yeah, that is like super Schillery on that side. Um, I'll isolate that and hopefully get the most out of that stone. I think it would be fun to kind of take out the scale and see what we have going on. And yeah, Scott, I agree with you so much. It's a good place for me. Um and maybe how's your power over there, Ma? Yeah. Um, on that. Okay, so let's get out the scale and we will have a look at how much that guy that I just showed you. We'll even have a start to finish through the video on some of these stones so that you can see how much weight they have to lose in order to become a gemstone, because there's a lot of stuff. Thank you, Ma, that has to happen. You get the preform and then you start cutting. You saw what Manny was doing last night. And so yeah, you're probably gonna run out of run out of some of that, which always breaks my heart. Okay, so let's start off with we're going to start off with this lovely chunker here that I was showing you. Very nice and saturated. I'll put it back underneath here and try not to. Okay, so that guy, let's see how much that is. So right now that stands at 11 carats. And so I'll be lucky if I get, you know, like a 3 or 4 carat stone out of it, but still that's a chonker. That'll be super duper yummy. Free form facets. Yeah. Hey man, he's got a faceting machine. So I would love that to happen, Mr. Caleb. Um, and here's the one. Here's the one that we were just looking at. So here's this like cube. So when we are looking at these, you can also be imagining like that one that I showed you just before. It might be a good marquee or something that has like a longer shape because that's the shape that it's in already. This guy is almost a cube. So it would be great for like a standard, like a round shape or a square shape because of the way that this guy decided to form. There's its Schiller right there. That's so pretty. Okay, on to the scale you go. And so we have a 7.2 carat stone there. And honestly, you guys, these stones come small. Like a lot of people, little Chris was telling me a story about, you know, this person that came along and was like, you know, I would be so excited to find a sunstone this big, and kind of made the shape of a plum, you know, about that size. And she was like, I would too, you know, that one, I would be able to, you know, retire on that. So yeah, they come small most of the time. We've got this big Schiller piece that I was showing off during the live stream. You can see the Schiller working through it right there. And it's not a small stone. It'll be super fun. I was asking you guys if you thought I should uh facet it or do a carving on it, because it would probably be one or the other. And we'll weigh this guy. So that's a 34.5 carat stone. And they do get bigger than that. You know, you can get lucky. You could get lucky like that on a belt run and find like a watermelon one that size. And people pull them out of the wall. So it's just not like average. It's, you know, that's a bigger chunk for Oregon Sunstones. So it's going to go into the big chunk pile over there with the shillers, the shiller dillers. And hopefully I'm keeping up with y'all's questions. I'm rooting around because I did want to find a green one for you. At the Sunstone mines, at the very least for the spectrum, they have different pits and they will have different styles of sunstone in them. They have a green pit. They have pits where you're going to find more red material. And so I love the green. And sometimes we've gotten more and sometimes we've gotten less. This time we got hardly any green whatsoever. And yet we did. It's just mostly smalls though. And so this is actually a green that is a bit bicolor. You can see it kind of diving into some olive colors with the red schiller in there. But hopefully you guys are seeing that is, took the green side of the copper valence instead of the pink or red. And actually this, I found it so interesting on Patrick's uh video, the scientists that he was interviewing about how we get the color, and we kind of don't know. I mean, we know that there's copper in there. You can see a little bit of schiller. And we'll go back to the other side, and you can see as I'm turning it, is a bit bicolor, but we definitely have the green in there. It's so cool that we don't know it. Okay, it's copper. It's kind of like gravity. We know it exists, but we don't know exactly what it is. And so that one's going to go with the super good ones. And let's see, I'm going to attempt to keep up with y'all. Doing great here. And oh, you've got lightning, Ma. Crazy. Hopefully you're staying safe there. Those guys are getting all the rain and the storming, and it's kind of crazy. It was like pretty clear here all day long, and still yes, a gleaming cube, definitely. And yes, the marquee stones, man, and they are so good looking when you can make them. And so probably we'll be working on some of those to cut. Although honestly, I love setting um, rounds and trillions. Like those are my very, very favorite to set. And we have the sage rat saying depends. Does the schiller go in the stone or is it on the surface? And I think what you're trying to say is it has a lot to do with the location, because since it's literally little platelets of copper making the schiller, um, you might have it. You have to figure out how to cut your stone so that you keep it in the stone. When I was a beginner and I was actually doing like some quasi faceting on my flat lap before I finally got my faceting machine, um, I did lose. I didn't quite understand that like the schiller doesn't always go all the way through the stone. Not only do you have to find its orientation like this guy, you'd want it to be on the flat, but it's actually more schillery like from this angle. And that happens quite a bit. And so if you want to grab that schiller, guess what? You've got a skinny stone instead of like all of that flat stone. And they do have the tendency to be kind of on the narrow side a lot of the time. You don't always get these like fabulous chunks, but this one has a kind of a peach. It looks, an illusion of a peach body tone. Whoops, and into the drink it goes. There you are. And so in that way, it might still make a kind of neat carver. And then it'll just be one of those where the admirer turns it to see it go electric, because it is not the most conducive for the shape of the stone. I'm going to put that over with the big old schiller stones. And is the green from iron? I don't believe so, but gosh, if Patrick is still in the house. It would be great if you wanted to help out with what the theories were. I think it's the green side of the copper, like that. You know how sometimes copper turns green when it oxidizes. I believe that's what people have thought it was in the past. And so I am all about, like, if anybody knows more, please correct me. But as I said, the scientist alluded to the fact that they didn't know for sure what was going on in these stones, so that's kind of cool too. Um, and yes, Betty, the green ones are hard to detect. Like, it's a really good idea to, just get like uh, a single layer of the sunstones, kind of like what I've got, but not as thick. Just a single layer of the sunstones against a white surface, but in like a clear bowl, so that you can kind of see what's going on inside the stone. Oh, I keep on dropping my stones. And so that's another, teeny weeny. I'm gonna have to get that little pinpoint of red. Now, I'll tell you some too much information if you'd like to hear it. Let me turn the scale on again. I'm gonna get an idea for how many carats this guy is. So that's 7.7 carats, and I'll grab it again and show you. Okay, as we were saying before, that's not smack dab in the center of the stone. It's actually over towards the bottom right now, the way that I'm holding it. When you facet a a colored stone like the sunstone, you want to put the color in as close to the bottom, and then on up. But uh, what's most important is, the if you only have a little bit of color, you put it at the bottom of the pavilion. So at the bottom of the stone. And what ends up happening then, if you can do that, is that the reflection comes up through the top of all of that color, and it gets like thrown out the crown. Instead of, if you try to put it into the crown, a lot of times the light will just go through it and dissipate it. And so that is like a little cutter's tip. Uh, Literally the cullet of the pavilion, that's where you want your color. So I'll figure out how I can cut this stone so that, it's kind of nice. It's going to be top heavy towards the top of the screen, and the pavilion will be down there at the bottom. And if this stone wants to be like a keel cut, like if it's a rectangle stone or something like that, I can put that red all the way through the bottom of the keel of the stone. So that was probably TMI for you all, but I am sharing what the plans are, because this is what my brain's doing right now. Is, I'm getting to know you, hopefully not getting a copyright strike. Um, Here we go. We've got another red that was like super easy to just go grab, and another one that looks like, if there aren't that many, whoa, if there aren't that many inclusions in there, which it doesn't look like there are, then we'll be able to use, most of the body of that stone. It looks to be elongated kind of, and so this will probably end up being, once again, rectangle, marquee, something like that. A stone cut that will help enhance the color of that red that we get to see. And so let's go ahead and toss this on the scale. So that's 5.2 carats. And Mutt is safe. She's under a platform, so good. Not gonna see you blowing away or getting hit by lightning or anything like that. Excellent. And Sage Rat is asking, what is one of your favorite styles to facet? I would say Trillion is 100% my favorite shape out of all of them. The Triopic Blast is a triangle that I love so much. And actually, if y'all want to sit here for a second, it would take me about 30 seconds to go grab the flat of stones so that you guys could see them too, and I can put on a little. Do I dare put on some music for you guys? I'll be right back. Here we go. And turn that up. Okay, BRB. Oh, yeah. Sunstones at night here on Ozone Fine Art Ventures. Thanks for hanging out. Um, so we've got a flat here of some of the sunstones. It might be more advantageous to do this. So I just grabbed my flat and it was downstairs, so I just ran up a flight of stairs. Sorry, I'm doing the heavy breathing, but the triopic blast, like this guy here, is my absolute favorite cut. I've got one in a Schiller stone here, so I'll show you this underneath the camera and bring this over here like that. And so that one's a Schiller guy. You can see the peach color, and if I don't, I'm probably going to drop this into the water below. Is that focusing? So not really. Let's try that. How close can we get? So that's what I love to do with them. I can't get over this particular cut. It's my favorite one. And the other that I really like is a round. These are both Andrew Brown did the Triopic Blast, and Arya Akvan is responsible for this one, which is going to take me a second to remember the name of, because all I can think of is the oppositional defiance that I just finished. But I'll think of it. This is one of those kind of bicolor stones, so you're seeing kind of a muted red, and it's kind of like leaning into a maroon. And depending on the sunshine, then you get like the kind of forest green on the edges there as I'm turning it around. And both of these, like this round, the crown is a triangle, and that's why I love it so much. Let me see if I go, nope. It's trying to get that so that you guys could see, kind of can see that it is a triangle at the top. And so too is the actual triangle of this guy. And I find very appealing. The one that I just spoke of, I did do in the oppositional defiance. Some of you guys saw on Rufo's challenge. Oh my gosh, the top just fell off, which is actually probably better, so that you guys can see the stone better as long as it stays. little tangent here. You guys want to see what, where these guys are headed. Well, these cuts are where they're headed. Let's see if I can't not drop that. So here is the oppositional defiance. It's on its side, so maybe I should put the top back on. Um, it is an Aria Akuvon cut as well. And so yes, the Sunstones look so awesome in a trillion cut, but they look good in all the cuts. It's just I personally love certain cuts for certain reasons. Like this is a threefold, a three reflection instead of a two-way reflection, and so it's almost, and it's made out of bar cuts, and so it's kind of like a pixel cut, but in a round and with a three-way reflection. It's just insane. And so I know that actually it's really hard to get the camera to do it justice on this here live stream, but take my word for it, folks. Pretty incredible. And so that's what I like. That's the trajectory for where these guys will go. This is what I just have on hand right now. At any given time, I probably don't have that many, because as soon as that's actually, wait, on this side, that's a quartz, that's a pixel cut. And I think that I have one other quartz on this flat, but and these are getting burned by the light a bit, but you're kind of getting an idea of what's going on there. Wow, that's the white just doesn't even want to show off what's going on. But yeah, at any given time, like a lot of my favorites actually get set right away, or they get squirreled away. These are the ones that are waiting to have something happen to them after being faceted. And so we'll keep on going. Thanks, guys. They wanted to come out and play. Of course, it's also nice to see, like, okay, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like raw. Now I want to see what happens to it. Actually, that looked almost like a red from the side. Yeah, see? So there you've got like a faint red. And then if you turn it on its side, it's just because it's filled with schiller. And so that's kind of like a weak red or a schiller stone. I'll probably end up faceting it this way and bringing out that red, but it'll be more of like a watercolor red than that really deep, almost ruby. Some of the sunstones look like they're rubies. If you saw them already faceted and just like at a gem show, you almost wouldn't know that it was a sunstone. And thank you, Ma. I appreciate that. It's so much fun to bring out the gems and let them shout at you all. And so we'll turn this around a little bit, because what I'm trying to fetch out are the red dots so that I can start planning some faceting. And so this is a little red dot that I'm going after in the water. And a lot of times these guys will have will have me a little annoyed because it's my left hand, you guys. Give me a break. It's my left hand. So here's a bicolor one. It's doing that kind of like purple, almost kind of maroon color, and you can see the schiller on the right hand side of this stone. And then as I'm turning it, we're gonna see it kind of go dark, and the light is preventing us from seeing kind of it being green, and so kind of a bicolor. You're probably seeing some of the green as I'm turning it over this way, and then it's going to go back to almost that weird mauve maroon. There's that weirdness. And so as a gem cutter, we have to figure out what angle to get the pretty color for a stone like this. It's nice, it's a colored stone, but you don't want to frame it so that it's just brown, that it's all the muddy color and none of the, like, you're not seeing pink, you're not seeing red, or you're not seeing green. And so it's exciting when it's a bicolor stone, but you have to figure out how to orient it to cut it properly. And I didn't drop it, so give me a hand for that, yay. And we've got a question here. Are you going to be setting these into jewelry soon? Yeah, it just depends on how quickly I can get them faceted. And what one of the things that I like to do is to have like a kind of like this flat of guys here, and I also have like this flat of these guys over here. These are well done, no dropsies, right? Here's some of the Oregon fire opals that I've cut. So you see more of the triopic blast. You can see I'm completely in love with that. And then oppositional defiance. Isn't that, or is that what I just said was the other one? I think that it is. I'm like, it's stuck in my mind. At any rate, I try to get a bunch of stones done, and then as I'm having ideas for the jewelry part of it, like I'm done faceting or I'm done doing the cabs for a little bit, and I kind of change over my studio to be ready for the silversmithing, and then they come out and play on the desk. Like, okay, these faceted stones would look really good with this one cabochon, and the pieces start to kind of build themselves. And so as soon as I can get kind of a cache of them, some multiples done, then we'll look at doing some setting. I don't know if y'all have seen though, like I think silver backed off by 44 cents or something like that, but it was $44 plus, and it backed off into $43 a troy ounce. This is so crazy expensive right now. I mean, it's not gold expensive, but for silver, I mean, to give you a reference, if you're not a silversmith, just at the beginning of this decade-ish, it was like at 2022 a troy ounce. So it's split. So if you have some money in silver, you definitely did a good investment there. And we've got, before my injury, I was starting to learn wire weaving and making cabochons. Loved using sourced Oregon material and doing it all myself, right? Yeah, you gotta love the farm to table when you can go out and get your own stones, and it's really exciting. You have the soul of the stone that way. And being in Oregon is really great because we have a lot of nice gems, but a lot of states do have a lot of nice gems also. And that was kind of, I had a first phase of my silversmithing and jewelry making career, and I actually quit. I thought we had it this way. Um, I quit because I just didn't, I couldn't deal with like the masses of stones like every year at Tucson. I was like, where's the soul in all of this? And so I kind of quit for a while, and I had to refine what it was that I thought I was doing in it. And your point is exactly where I ended up. Was if I can find it, or if it's from my friend's mine or something like that, and then I go ahead and make something that is the oneliest and onlyest of its kind, then I feel okay about it. And so I got back into it. As long as I get to do the lion's share of the playing with the material. And so you saw how much this stone changed from when I turned it. Like, it was kind of like a light Schiller piece, and then we found the red in it. And so that's another thing, is that sometimes you don't know what you have until you do some playing. I thought I saw a red dot down there. Now, the way I have it turned right this second, you can see a white line kind of descending from one of the fingers of my tongs to the other side. And that's probably a fracture, and that's probably going through the color. And so this is the heartache that sometimes sunstones can provide, is that you might have a beautiful stone and it might have a crack right through the middle, just like an opal. They can break your heart sometimes. And so then you just decide, okay, well, how do I deal with that? Do I make two small stones? What what can I do? So there's a lot to deal with, as far as sussing out the stability of a stone with this. Just like with opals, you don't want to get hours and hours and hours into a stone only to find out that it's going to break on you. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was somebody on the live yesterday was talking about having, I think maybe it was Rufo, having had a stone that fell apart when they took it off the dop, because probably either the epoxy glue or dop wax was holding it together. It had broken, but they didn't know until it was done, and then taking it off the dop and having it fall apart. That is always such a huge, huge heartache. And that does happen with these. And this one was probably reflecting I can talk, some color when it was down in the dish, and it seems like it's kind of more of a just a champagne stone at this moment. It probably does have a little bit of schiller. So I'll look at it either in the wintergreen, or I will take a jeweler's loop and take a look at the inside, or I can pop it onto the microscope and have a look on the inside that way too, and see if it has color, and if it's a full piece. Because I mean, this is a let's find out how big of a piece this is. It's a big piece. So even if it's a champagne stone, which are far less desirable than the red dots, you can still make a beautiful carving or do a big juicy faceted piece out of it, and it would be worth what you put into it for sure. So yeah, that's a 21.5 carat stone. And so hopefully it's clear inside, and we get to do some kind of cool faceting project, or carving project. Wow, it almost looks like it's got some green here when we get the reflection of the rest of the studio in there. That's what I kind of thought maybe I was seeing also. So maybe this might be like a faint green guy. In your face, Karen. Um, yeah, so I'll have to take a closer look at that lump, and then figure out who it wants to be. If it is all one piece, like I said, then we get a big piece out of that. It probably, looking at it, has maybe a little bit of fracturing going on. And here we go. Oh, it was Ryan. The labradorite cap broke in the acetone. Oh, such a heartache. So sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and thank you, Ma. You were the one that was pointing out who it was. Yeah. And Sierra, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Finding the stones myself keeps it personal for me. Not that I don't buy stones, but it touches my heart more when I pulled it from the ground myself. Yeah. It really does give you some soul, and you can express that into whatever piece you decide to make out of the stone, or when you're releasing it into the public, however the way that you do, if you're selling or giving. I mean, it comes with a story. That seems like it's got a lot of life to it. And then that, I'm not dissing on buying stones either. I buy plenty of them myself. It was just an impasse that I hit, that like, okay, after seeing tables upon venues of all of these stones that were calibrated, all the same size, like 9 by 12 oval, and again, I'm not dissing on these things, but it was like, I started feeling like Ace Ventura when he walks into the trophy room. Um, like I just look at them all going like, ah, where did these all come from? And, did anybody love you while they were cabbing you up or cutting you into the shape you are now? Like, you need a hug. So, anyways, probably too much, um, too much thought. Maybe overthinking it a little bit, but yeah, good sentiment there, Sierra Hounder. Thank you. And we've got another. This one was just screaming at me, so I just picked it up and dropped it. But a lot of Schiller, and so some of these guys won't make good faceted gems. Why, Karen? Why? Because faceted gems are best when I was saying before. Ooh, that one almost went. Um, when you can get the transparency of a stone to reflect the color all the way through the stone, brightening it or deepening it, that's up to the angles and up to the cutter. But if you have something like this copper, where the platelets make a Schiller that is opaque across it, which this one almost is. I mean, it's like translucent. Then you're starting to mess with the fact that you've got reflections going on. It won't go through the copper. And so it'll be a shape. You could make a faceted crown and you see into the Schiller, but then it stops. And so maybe a rose cut, or there's our Schiller shine. Or a cabochon. Wow. I still didn't quite drop it, but it's wanting to move. Yeah, or like I said before, you choose the angle where it's not on the Schiller platelet, it's on the other angle where it's a little bit more translucent, and then you get the color without getting the shine knocked down. And thank you so much for hanging out, Jeff. I hope that you have safe travels and very good dreams, hopefully, about some sunstones and that sort of thing. It's like eating your own veggies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, let's get some homegrown stones. I love it. And it would be cool to see under the microscope. Your wish shall be my command. Let me put this guy underneath the microscope. And if this one's not the best one to see the platelets, then we can maybe select another stone. I think I can get it to just hover, which would be really cool. Adjusting our ball vise really quick. We'll see what we get. And try not to drop it into the vices all. Okay. Oh, and it's got the Schiller shining straight up into the microscope too. What will this look like? What do we have? Okay. So thank you, Josh. Your wish is our command. Let's see. Let's get this guy back up here. So we are looking into the sexy view of the Schiller through the fractures just that are on the surface. And so let's get in there, and we're just seeing kind of the wet right now of it, but we'll get closer. And as we do, in theory, we might be able to see some of the Schiller that's shining back at us. And if this is too much of an angle that is going to give us too much of the shine, we can always change the angle a little. But the color is really nice. And sometimes it's tricky when, that's the job of the wintergreen oil, is to get us past this fractured surface. But we'll see what our microscope can do here. Yeah, we're seeing shine. I'm afraid that that's not platelet there on this side either that you guys are seeing. That is more likely just kind of schmutz, if you will. I'm going to see if I can angle it down just a tiny bit to see if it can stop rioting. Like, of course, like the Schiller, sometimes it's so hard to orient the Schiller right so that you can see it. And right now we don't want it. I mean, in the corner of our view to the left, and we're seeing some other inclusion there too. It's probably basalt, those little sprinkles of black, because this is born in basalt. That is the matrix material. I think we're starting to see like the platelets a bit. But boy, that shine. See if we can get past it. And then we can try one of the other ones where I'm pretty sure we can isolate some platelets. Kind of seeing little bits of the guys there, those little dots. But I like that's not the most impressive platelet show. I will get you one. If my name is an ozone. Let's cruise a little bit. Who knows what we're gonna see? We're just getting it like reflected right back in our faces, which is kind of funny. That was my point with the faceting is like you don't you don't want it to mirror back at you. And we're trying to get into the stone right now, and it's just mirroring light back at us. See about somewhere else. Is anybody feeling sick yet? I'm sorry. Moving you around too fast. Yeah, we're seeing graininess, but it's not really giving us a good view of the platelets. Like those little shiners that are yellow are, but we can do better. I cannot drop a little wintergreen on it, Ma. It will stink up like this entire floor of the house. It is so powerful that you drop the stones in, and then as soon as you get the stone out, um, I'm gonna do this. Oh, hello. I said it was all about the sunstones and sunstones after dark tonight, right? Um, let me put. Oh, there I am. Hello. Okay, so I'm gonna put somebody else on there so that we can see the platelets better. I think we'll see. It can be tricky. A lot of times with stuff like this, I love to set it up ahead of time. But I did promise you guys you could have some microzone. That's why the thing is here. It was a super good suggestion, Ma. Granted, like I swear that wintergreen stuff, like as soon as you take it out of the bottle, the stone out of the bottle, you have to like have a paper towel, completely like dab all the wintergreen oil off of it, and then the paper towels have to go someplace where they're not going to reek. I mean, it is so powerful. It's kind of like it reminds me of the stuff that they put underneath your nose when you've got cadavers or something like that. I mean, seriously, it's so powerful. And we've got Resort Dog in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Sierra Rock Hunter, go hug your rocks. Totally. And let's see. How many of these will you facet? 25%? Probably, maybe. I don't know. It depends on how many good ones I have. I think I got a good haul this time. So 25% would be great. I hope so. And we've got facet the clear cab. With the Schiller, yeah, we'll definitely, if it's got Schiller, it'll probably happen. It's the ones that like the champagnes sometimes the poor guys don't get the love that they should. Okay, let's see. Let's pan out and see if we can get this guy going. I think we need to go up and find it. Okay, let's add. We're just getting in here, guys. That's better. So all of those darker dots that you guys are seeing now is the Schiller. And so we'll cruise around and hopefully get you a nice, this one's kind of disorganized with it. But you're getting an idea of that is how the sunstones be getting their color. You know, some of them are just being dark and they're not picking up the light. Let me make that big because the way that we have it right this second, you can almost see them lined up in the center. Um, you can, it almost looks like it's gridding from top to bottom from the center of the picture down. You know, you can see them lined up. And that's kind of really, really cool because that's what they want to do. They follow the lattice lines. And yeah, you can kind of see that line, especially right before the big here. There's this part, and then if you follow that down here, there's one of the lines right there. And then there's another line right there, and so on and so forth. You can kind of see that it like almost is like a comb. So that's kind of neat. And we've got Ryan Splitton. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And like camphor, I'm not sure. Opal guy, I remember I was watching either a video or a documentary on the Sunstones, and they had somebody who was appraising the Sunstones, and they had the wintergreen oil, and I was like, oh, and then and they explained it was because it had the right uh, refraction, it's like the same refractive index or whatever in the oil as the sunstone. I was trying to get closer. See how close we can get to that. And so I went out and got some, and I can't remember if they warned about how powerful it was in the video or not, but I ended up stinking my studio up so bad. We're not seeing it very good here, but we're going to move back to where we were before. And all those little spreckles in there are our little platelets of, yeah, you can see the little polka dots now. We'll get a little closer. Some of them bigger, but there's a whole bunch of little ones. Yeah, so I'm not sure what other oils are good. I just have been using the wintergreen oil. And as you dunk the stones, they, you know, pull out a little oil each time. And so I'm on needing some more. So all of those little dots, like not the biggest dots, although they are too, but like now you're starting to see the little dots, and we'll get closer. Those are the ones that are going to be responsible for your lots and lots of schiller or not. And it's incredible what those little platelets, you know, do as far as lighting up an entire stone or turning it peach. There we go. We're seeing like, you know, really distinct cleavage there, you know, kind of through the middle of the scene. Little dots. Let me see if I can move you back up to where we saw a little bit more over here. Some of them are picking up light now, and so they're glimmering back. We're right in the middle of that shear off point, but all of that whole plane over to the left-hand side, all those little faint dots, that's all the little schiller platelets there. Not looking terribly organized, you know, when we get down this close. But sometimes, boy, they are super duper organized. I'm trying not to make you guys sick. Again. Let's see. I think we have do we have a little bit closer? Nope, that's it. And so, I mean, it's pretty wild just to look. And I went past our platelets there for a second, just searching. You know, this is my life, you guys. When I'm trying to get a better grasp on what I'm trying to work with. I'm doing this with the different stones. It's pretty cool. I mean, even if it wasn't a sunstone, that's just like a wild and crazy cool thing to be looking at. Um, and yeah, there's some pretty neat colors in there, and so it's doing its own kind of reflections with the light of the microscope, and some of them are getting darkened, so they're in the shadow for some reason, and then other ones are bright and they're coming out yellow actually, just because of the quality of what they're reflecting back. And then some of them are kind of hanging back and being like little pink dots in our picture. And yeah, this stuff never gets old. One more thing I can do is here, let me get that going again. And we could even do that with my Sunstone co-star. I'll put one of the red ones that might do okay in here. I started you guys off at the very beginning of our live stream. We actually, I was playing the music way too long, and we were looking at one of the red ones. And so we'll mount another one up and see how we do here. If we can get a good picture of some of the red that makes the sunstones famous. There we go. Trying to get it in a decent amount of focus before I bring you guys all in. Here we go. Not really. I was just seeing it very small. Okay, so we're looking at one of the cherry juiciest ones that we looked at before. And it's hard to see the individual platelets in this one, but you can. Especially down the center right there. This one's drying off, so I'll get it wet again, but you're seeing all those tiny little pinpoints, and those are varying depths of the platelets. There, I just got it wet again. Let's go closer, guys. See what we can get. And we'll go up a little bit. But yeah, you're seeing the individual guys, and it looks like we've got a nice fracture there, so we'll avoid that when we're trying to cut. Whoa. And that went too far. I've got this on a ball vise, but we're close enough that any little change is making it wonk. So I should make this bigger. So yeah, you can sort of see like all of our Schiller suspended there, making you're seeing them be like kind of like the galaxy. And so some of them are yellow, some of them are kind of whitish, and then they fade back. And so again, we'll get a little bit closer. It would be nice to see some of the individual platelets being a little bit more red for you, but I might have to go back and get you a picture of that out of one of the Schiller ones that is against a white background. This is backless, and that might be part of our problem. So there you go. Just these little guys diving through all that red. And yet at the same time, that's what's making it red, which is so crazy. It does look like flames. Yeah, it's on fire. Yeah, some of the platelets in some of these stones are so darn big. Let's see if I can cruise over here a little bit. That they're just these they look like blood platelets in plasma, like against the champagne. It's incredible. There we go. Again, looking very much in this regard like the cosmos. You know, we're looking at stars and the sun at the same time. A little bit closer. I'll get us in focus here, and a little bit closer look. Too far. So yeah, with the dark background, we're seeing the ones that are catching the light instead of the other way around. But if I can, what I'll do is I'll do a white background and get you some of the platelets, and I'll post those over on the Discord or have them for the Friday live. So pleasantly distracting. Oh, good. I'm glad I can do that for you, Ma. Yeah, this is my distraction like all of the time. It is so crazy. And so let me take that, put myself and the Sunstones back on. Here we go. All right. And so do y'all have more questions? Let's dig around in this bin for a little bit longer. Stein curtains to you all. Thirsty this evening. All right. And so again, I'll probably use most of the Schiller stones. I'll probably share some of the Schiller stones with friends that need faceting material, and I've got some folks that I need to share even some of the color with. And then the clear champagne ones are actually really good to practice new cuts on. And so when I did the first oppositional defiance, ruination, ha, okay. The rounds that have the triangle crown, that's ruination. And then the round that has the bar cuts that look like a three-way pixel cut that I was showing you, that's the oppositional defiance. Both of those cuts by Arya Akivan. When I'm trying something new, I will try it on like a clear sunstone because it's great faceting material, and you can see that I can come by it. And so I have it to quote unquote waste if I need to. If I need to make a mistake. But so it won't break my heart if it doesn't work out. But if it does work out, then I've got a stone that I can use. And so either way is great. And you know, for all intents and purposes, the sunstone is, especially since it was something I mined and being from Oregon, it's better for me to use that than quartz. Let's fire up the scale and see how much this one weighs. So that one's weighing in at 6.2 carats, and it's got a faint red dot, and it does have an inclusion about a third of the way in. So that is a huge bummer. We've got this big gelatinous ice cube of a sunstone. It's a little bit thinner, big broad face. So this one would probably be better for carving, and it does have some Schiller in it. And the Schiller is kind of hiding out like that other one that we were looking at where it's like on the wrong angle. And so that might, you know, take some magic to figure out how to control that out of the rock instead of having to hold it on the side or make a small stone. And that is 13 carats for a Schiller piece. So that would be those kind of things, like they just do so much nicer on a carving or a cabochon, and then maybe on a wire wrap or something like that so that you can see all the way through. It's pretty neat. I haven't cabbed in a good 10 minutes. That's awesome. We have you captivated. I love it. And then let's see, what's the most unusual thing you've cut? Meaning as far as the shape goes with a sunstone, or the weirdest stone? Because you could go either way with that question. So I would love to answer either. Donahue Labs, Patrick is saying it's real annoying to try to capture those copper platelets on camera, in it. Did you have a good time trying to do that as well, sir, for your documentary? It's not easy. And I do have a couple of dichroic ones. I was showing one of them off earlier. Let me see if I can get it to come out and play. So this guy, let's see. Yeah, you can see it's got green, and then if I get it turned the right direction without dropping it, it turns to strawberry. If I can get it to do that, and we've got the Coke bottle right there. Um, it's a rough cut. It's going to be hard to find how to cut it on account that it seems like it's also got some interesting inclusions. This guy actually was looking like it's got some dichroic properties as well. And some Schiller. You can see it diving into the Coke bottle right there. So needing to get the angle right. We've got the red and green going on. Whoop, yep. And so I got a few that have some different colorings. I'm going to have to look at them longer. Whenever I see some green, then I've like, that's the first thing that I'm trying to see is like, okay, you are green. Are you also going to be another color? It seems like it works more that way than the other way. Did you end up with some, Patrick? And have you cut them? So that can be kind of tricky. I've only cut a few, and I can't say that I was 100% successful in being able to frame the color on all of them. And so it's definitely a learning curve to wrestle. Again, since you're trying to put the color in the cullet, and you're dealing with the two perfect cleavage planes, and then you've got like the color bending on you also. That one actually seemed to have a little bit of it. Yeah, it becomes a little bit, a lot fast for planning and hoping that you have planned it right. I think that learning how to cut the sunstones all together and finding how to orient where the color is supposed to go. This one had some color when I was looking at it. I think it's a green, but kind of a fainter green. There you go. Just go back in the water. If we were gonna sort this way, it would probably take me a lifetime. I'm gonna have to do like a quick version. Let's see. Oh, fantastic. Ma has posted the documentary of the Sunstones for Patrick. Thank you so much. And Dr. Cahoon was fantastic. That was such an amazing documentary. Definitely want to go check that out if you have a chance. It really is a great video, and it's been so long. I forgot if I have any dichroics, but I don't think I checked closely. Yeah, they sneak up on you too. Like sometimes you don't know that you've got that going on until you start the preform or something like that, and you get it turned the right way or clear off the right material that might have had an inclusion that was causing you not to be able to see it, or any number of things. And so these are not. These stones, if I can say anything about them, it's just not a straightforward thing, and they offer some really interesting challenges, and they are every bit as rewarding for your trouble as any trouble that you might run into. But they definitely take some thought and some practice, and I've had really good experiences, and then I've had plenty of heartaches with these things too. But yeah, uh, I think that if opals didn't exist, they'd be my number one thing. And I might even enjoy working on these more than working on opals. Wow, that's a big one. Wait, come back here. And it's got some neat schiller. Wow. Check this out. So you can see the schiller bands. This one might be one to put underneath the microscope. Um, yep. But yeah, I think I think between opals and sunstones, I probably have more sunstone victories than perhaps opal ones. Let's go ahead and slide that into the. We might get you some platelets yet. This will be our last try at some platelets underneath the microscope. See which way would be best. Probably this way. And it just might be that since we have the direct light on the microscope that it's making it difficult. I do know when I do a white underneath, it does help a bit. Now that's the surface, but we're going to go beneath the surface and we're going to find those platelets. Let's see if we can't grab them. I went too fast. Backing off. There they are right there. In the bands going crosshatch to the up and down striations that we're looking at. Let's get that wet. Maybe that might help. Bring it back into focus. There's our platelets. So this sort of thing, I gotta say, you can see those speckles through the through those white uglies on the front. They're hiding out behind. So this is the type of thing that would be way better if I had a polished stone. But you can see them, or the wintergreen, if it wasn't just so heinously disgusting. I mean, it's so strong. It makes your eyes water. It's just crazy. I want to get those for you. But yeah, we're seeing the platelets really good now back there. Okay, make it bigger. See if getting closer is going to help. We might get rid of that surface altogether. It's having trouble. See, there's the surface. We're going past it. There's our schiller. And then it goes out of view. Bummer. Let's get it wet again. I really want to grab this for you guys. Let's see if we get a little closer. Is that the closest we can get? Okay. So we're seeing those ones at the top of the picture best. So maybe go up there and grab those guys. There's our platelets. Not the platelet dirt that I was hoping for. But it's about organizing your light. Having all the top light isn't doing them very many favors. So we will work on it. I will bring you good pictures of these guys here. And again, we're trying to get through a surface that isn't like helping us out at all. But that is what that is. The thunder is so loud. Oh my gosh, I hope you're okay. Stay safe. Yeah, good storm at night is a very nice vibe. I agree with you there. It's lattice. And let's take that back up. Do that, me and the Sunstones. Thank you, Rufo. I hope that you're enjoying the time with your wife. And hey, Manny, we were just going through some of that sunstone pile, and yet, like, oh my gosh, it's so much more fun to like hang out and talk about them than actually get the sorting done. Maybe what really should happen is that I like stick some music on at some point, and maybe even later, or maybe I just continue this live and just sort the dang stones. I'm the worst. It's so much more fun to like, check out your guys' questions and answer and chat. It's way more fun to do. And over here, Patrick is saying Sunstone has the cleavage problems, but if that doesn't crop up, it loves to take a polish. Yeah, I think that that's maybe what I love so much about it is that if you have a stone that acquiesces, then by the time you get a polish on, it's it's such a stunner. If it's a cabochon, it's lovely. If it's a carving, it's lovely. But faceted, these things are screamers. I love they used to call them the plush diamonds, and just even the champagne ones, which they don't consider very precious, are stunners when given a nice cut. And so I definitely, they have my heart. I love them so much. And you are it's 2:18 on a Thursday. That's so crazy. Well, good afternoon to you. Or you guys say Arvo, don't you? So I'm trying to decide. I probably could wrap her up. We're at 2 hours. And I can take some pictures underneath the microscope of the platelets and put them up on the Discord. Maybe that'll keep me from rambling, and I can get to actually sorting these sunstones. Yeah, I thought so. It's yep, good Arvo. And Sage Rat is saying, I think they are a beautiful stone. I love those opals too. Yeah, I know opals. And so since you're so close to the Sunstones, you're probably very close to the Virgin Valley too. Have you visited that, Sage Rat? Because that's a good time with opals. And did I get to so the stuff that I've been that we went off-roading for was the Oahe blue picture stone, picture jasper. And so it's, Oahe blue. So it's not Gary green and it's not Gary blue. It's Oahe. And let me do this. We'll go back to that. And I did do a cab last night. I did some little slablets, and I have a saw blade that it just wants to die so bad. And so I'm just doing little cuts because I don't want to burn the motor on my saw. But I did get a little slablet that I got to do a little cablet out of. And so this is what I did, little free form guy that is the Oahe blue picture jasper. And so this guy looks so darn much like where I got it. It's not even funny. We had to drive through this tiny little canyon causeway, basically a spillway for, a monsoon dry creek. And the canyon wall goes like straight up on the left-hand side. The sky is there, and then you've got what we were driving on down towards the tip of the cabochon. But yeah, this stuff is so pretty. There's that side. This was the end cut, so under normal circumstances, I probably would have done that one instead. But this was what was here available. And this guy here has this neat healed fracture. So you can see where the healing went. I'll put the light right there. So right across there, you can see that transformation. That's a healed fracture, and it shifted that color completely while it was, healing or whatever. It's kind of like a breccia or something like that. I don't know. But I am so in love with this stuff. It takes a beautiful polish, and it is so you think that the sunstones are hard to get to? They are like a cakewalk down the sidewalk, in comparison to getting to the Oahe Jasper. So we did a lot of off-roading on this trip. The Sunstone, the roads out to the Sunstones, were just almost like paved in comparison to where we went. And so, yeah, it was a super duper good time. And Sage Rat is saying, not yet. I want to, can't do mining right now. Got to get healed up first. Well, you heal, and I do hope that you get a chance to go out to the Virgin Valley, especially considering your proximity. It is such a beautiful place anyway. I love places like that. And there's a hot springs there too. There at what is it, Sherman? And so you gotta love all these places where you can go mine and then you can go get a hot spring. There's just nothing better than that. And okay, oof, I was a tiny bit behind, but wow, that Oahe, yeah, oof, I'm so excited about it. And that was just like a little tester stone. And thank you, Ma, about the polishing. It's one of those things that I know that you guys totally all empathize when you are so like zoned out in the flow of working a piece. Sometimes you lose track for even how long you've been on a wheel or something. Like I'll just be so into it that who knows how long I was on the 3000. I don't. Like, so yeah, they sometimes pick up an even better polish than I had ever planned. And I have a piece of pink plume I want to get worked someday when I'm better. Oh, cool. Where's the pink plume from? We missed out on going to Graveyard. I had the claim to go out on the Oahe Blue Jasper. We got an allowance to go out on a claim, an invitation, and then we also have one to Graveyard Point, and we got stymied. Here, let me do this. We got stymied by the weather. The weather didn't like us. And so we kept on having to kind of slide stuff around because y'all know if you're four-wheeling it out there, you don't want to have to be dealing with water, through the arroyos and that sort of thing. We still had to cross some pretty sketchy water places. It wasn't completely dry yet, and a lot of those places turned to cake batter, like in the Virgin Valley. Don't want to find yourself there in the wet either. You'll just load up your wheels and your wheel wells with cake batter and just be stuck. And so we had to put stuff off, and it just meant when we were shifting stuff around, that Graveyard Point got dropped. So the plume agates, that'll be something for our next time around going out there, because we are so addicted to that area. Again, we really, really love the kind of our version of the Outback. It's just a blast. And I will be sharing with you guys bunches and bunches of the footage. We took plenty of road shots so that you get a feeling for how just massive the area is. And we're just these little ants that are making our way out of some cool little rocks, and hopefully nothing bad happens to the rig because you are out there. So it's a super fun adventure. I can't wait to take you guys on it, and we can't wait to go again because it was just amazing. And if there weren't any rocks, we still would have had like the times of our lives, but the fact that there were just stunner rocks just makes it all the more amazing and fabulous. There's just not even enough of those wonderful words to paint the picture accurately. I'll try for the video though. I'll do some of those voiceovers. You know the ones. um, and this is I only found one, but it was up near North Bead. Okay, good to know. There's a few of us around that love the pinks and we love the plumes. And so if you got pink plume, that's good stuff. Nice. All right. Well, you guys, I'm I'm gonna like draw out trying to sort out sunstones for so many live streams. We'll just be like sorting sunstones for the whole rest of our lives. And I want to thank you guys for coming by. We will on the Friday Night Live, we'll be looking at some of that footage I was talking about. We will be looking at some of these sunstones again. We'll be checking out the blue Owyhee jasper. I should have some more of that cut. And we've got, goodies going on over at the Discord that we'll probably do some overview on what's going on over there. And so, oh, neat. You're going to do some heat treating. Wow. That should be interesting. That is an area I have not gotten into. And Sierra Hounder is saying it is such a stunning area for sure. We got so lost out there, but had a ton of fun on top of Heart Mountain. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm talking about like out at the Owyhees was where it was like so mind-blowingly remote. But you're right. Up there at Heart Mountain and out in the Rabbit Hills above Plush. And I don't know if you've ever taken the road out of Heart Mountain to go to French Glen and up the west side of the Steens. It's all absolutely mind-blowing and a really good time. So I hope that you have some fun doing that. Maybe next time, Sierra Hounder. That stuff is so great. I'll wear my Heart Mountain shirt on Friday, I think. It's yellow after all. I mean, I walked into the visitor center, which I had never been in all the times that we've been up there. It's always been closed. And lo and behold, and they even closed the road from that big fire that they had. And so everything's open. We go up there. I get to go to the visitor center for the first time, and this woman was absolutely so helpful. She was amazing, wanting to tell me about everything. And at the end, she asked me, "Well, did I answer all your questions?" And I was like, "Yep, all but one." And she was like, "Oh, wow." She figured she had covered it all. And I was like, "Yeah, am wondering if you have any more of those shirts, 'cause I really want your shirt." And sure enough, she had one. So I was able to get because it was this screaming yellow Heart Mountain shirt. I was like, "Oh man, that's so cool." And so and I got a t-shirt. That was a deal. So again, oh my gosh, yeah. Leslie Gulch. That's another wonderful, wonderful time. Like the whole Sucker Creek, Leslie Gulch area is really neat too. It's hard not to know where to spread your love around out there because it's just all good. And so, like I was saying, thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you on Friday for the Friday Night Live, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Saturday if you're in Australia, and we'll have lots of fun rock viewing to do on that. Yeah, Sierra Rock Counter, we might see you there. That sounds like a good time. Cheers and thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Love you. I don't even have credits for tonight. We're just gonna bid you adieu, good night, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks again.